Welcome to ITSP Magazine Podcasts, a modern, innovative multimedia platform broadcasting ideas and connecting minds. You are about to listen to a new short story from Storie Sotto le Stelle podcast. We invite families and friends of all ages to gather under the Tuscan night sky, ready to be carried away by magical short stories suitable for children and the young at heart. Here begins a wonderful adventure, a gift for all dreamers in search of enchantment, wonder, and wisdom. From the original Italian, here we present the English version. Now, let's all be quiet. The story is about to begin.
The Fountain of Tales and the Magical Christmas Slippers. Once upon a time, there was the Fountain of Tales, and it was still there, in the centre of a square that maybe, just maybe, some of you already know. In a place whose location and time were unknown, the clock tower's chimes marked the passing of days, months, and seasons. With the sounds of his bells, the clock seemed to tell new stories every hour. It was winter, and a cold wind blew from the north. The sign of the ice cream shop Arcobaleno tinkled softly, and inside every afternoon, steaming hot chocolate awaited the children after school, far too cold for their famous and delicious flying ice creams. But the true heart of the square was the magical fountain, wrapped in a layer of ice. Its droplets, melting slowly, transformed into shimmering words that unraveled wondrous tales. After school, a group of children ran in. Backpacks flew everywhere as they laughed and challenged each other to see who would be the first to put on their skates. "I beat you!" shouted Marco, sliding onto the icy rink. "Only because I helped Sophia with her scarf," replied Giacomo. In just a few minutes, they were all on the ice, spinning and twirling amidst laughter and the occasional ouch that make them laugh even more. Dressed in colourful coats, gloves and hats, they looked like a rainbow in motion. To warm up, they ran to the large fire lit on one side of the square, their cheeks red and their smiles wide. But on that special afternoon, something different happened. A mysterious gust of wind made the fountain's ice tremble, and a Christmas melody filled the air. "How strange, do you hear that?" asked Sophia. "It's coming from the fountain," replied Lucia, pointing at a sparkling glow. The frozen droplets began to shine, transforming into an enchanted window outlined with Christmas decorations. Two elves, wearing red and green pointy hats, appeared on either side and said, come on, don't be afraid. Step through the window and we'll take you on an adventure you'll never forget." The children, curious and a little excited, held hands and stepped through the window, finding themselves on a flying carpet that moved as lightly as a gust of wind. "Are we flying?" exclaimed Maria. "Exactly," replied an elf. "Destination, Lapland, Santa Claus's enchanted land." In the blink of an eye, they landed in a snowy landscape. The snow was as soft as cotton candy, and all around stretched a magical forest. Waiting for them was a line of sleds led by reindeer with big dark eyes, and one with a bright red nose. But they weren't alone. Other animals emerged from the forest, curious about the new arrivals. A group of silver-furred foxes approached timidly, followed by squirrels with fluffy white tails like snow. From the highest branches, owls and barn owls watched the scene, and a family of hares hopped happily around the sleds. Even a herd of majestic moose stepped forward, nodding slowly. "Welcome, friends," the animals said in unison. "Follow us. We'll take you to Santa's village." The sleds departed in a line, zigzagging between trees naturally decorated with ice crystals. Occasionally the children leaned over to greet the forest animals, who seemed eager to share secrets of the magical world. The reindeer parked the sleds in a small square. Surrounding it was a timeless, fantastic village, made of wooden houses with snow-covered roofs, illuminated by colourful lights shining like stars. The elves, wearing their red and green pointy hats, laughed and joked in the frosty winter air as they tirelessly continued their work, building the toys requested in the letters sent to Santa. In the village, there were mailboxes for incoming letters, some overflowing, others with notes still waiting to be read. The elves and village residents worked together to sort the requests and deliver them to Santa. It was a festive bustle, filled with songs and laughter. In the centre of the square stood an enormous fir tree decorated with ice stars that sparkled like diamonds under the night sky. But the real surprise was the blue slippers hanging from its branches, made of stardust threads and tied with red ribbons. Each slipper carried a magical bell that rang ding, ding, ding with the slightest movement. "Look!" exclaimed Julia. "There are names on each slipper." The elves began distributing them, but in the chaos of the delivery, the names got mixed up. "These are mine!" shouted Stefano. "No, they're mine!" Francesca replied, laughing. In the end, the magical slippers multiplied themselves, and everyone found their own pair. When they put them on, they discovered their secret. They could fly. The children flew to Santa's house, knocked on the grand door, and with a knock-knock, it swung open, revealing the great man with the white beard. Behind him was a room that seemed to stretch endlessly. On shining wooden shelves was an immense collection of toys, all neatly wrapped and ready for delivery on Christmas Eve. "How wonderful!" exclaimed the children, their eyes wide with amazement. To them, Santa was like the most fantastic and friendly grandfather. They all rushed to hug him, and someone even tugged on his long white beard to see if it was really real. "Santa," they asked in unison, "could you put a pair of slippers with a bell on every gift you deliver on Earth?" Without hesitation, Santa burst into a warm laugh and enthusiastically agreed. He knew well that his greatest joy was bringing happiness and smiles to all the children in the world. And so, on Christmas Eve, every child received magical slippers sprinkled with fairy dust. By wearing them, they could fly across the rooftops of their cities, meeting and greeting each other with laughter and festive sounds. At dawn, Santa, on his way back to the North Pole, joyfully watched the activity on rooftops in every corner of the planet. Ding, 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 the slippers' bells rang harmoniously, creating a Christmas melody that wrapped the whole world. The magic of Christmas had come true, thanks to the intrepid travellers of the Fountain of Tales. When its magic faded, the reindeer swiftly brought all the children back to the enchanted square, in front of the Arcobaleno ice cream shop. The fire was still burning, and the hot chocolate was still warm. The fountain sparkled under the falling snowflakes, and the chimes of the clock tower, ding-dong, seemed to promise another fantastic tale. Maybe, who knows, next time you'll be the protagonists. Happy holidays to everyone.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Storie Sotto le Stelle podcast. If you like this story, add this show to your favorite podcast player and share Storie Sotto le Stelle podcast with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to connect your brand to this show and its audience, visit itspmagazine.com to learn how to sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our fantastic journey. If you wish to read this and many more stories in Italian and in English, please visit storiesottolestelle.com. A presto.